going to be looking at some ratio tables right now. All right. Franklin the Turtle. Not as slow as people would like to think. Mrs. Martino actually timed him putting one paperclip on a chain once every 4 seconds for a total of 30 minutes. That is one focused turtle. Sure is. So, can you fill in what is missing in the spaces above? Pause the video. See if you can figure out what goes right here, what goes right here, and then what would go right down here. Alright, I've given you a chance to hopefully review this. You press pause and try it on your own, because you could probably understand when I explain it to you. But the true test is to see if you can do it on your own. Anyway, the unit rate here is every 4 seconds you get one paperclip. So you could think of this as like a chart. If the chart goes across, the rule is going down. So to get from paperclips to seconds, the rule is to multiply by 4. So what number times 4 equals 20? This number right here would be 5. You can see 10 times 4 is 40. What number times 4 is 120? That's tough to think about. So maybe you want to do the inverse of multiplication is division. You can take 120. So we have 120 seconds. We wouldn't have 480 paper clips. That wouldn't make sense, because you can see each time actually that the number of seconds and the number of paper clips, the seconds is always the bigger number. So this is going to be a smaller number than 120 up here. So we would do 120 divided by 4, which was, of course, the unit rate number for seconds, and it's also the rule in this case, which is to multiply by 4. And we're doing the inverse of that because we're doing the rule backwards. We're going from seconds up here to paper clips. And this will go in 30 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times. There's a 0 there, so we got to include that. It'll be 30 paper clips every 120 seconds. And then again, the rule is times 4, so 90 times 4 would be 360 seconds. 360 seconds. Which, by the way, is 6 minutes. We don't usually use the term 360 seconds, but as we might have saw if you've tried to put together the world record for most paper clips in a day chained together, you need to convert them all to the same units of seconds. It really helps. Along the same lines here, he is a focused turtle, and I want to know how many paper clips did he put together in 12 seconds. So based on the chart here that we've already figured all these answers for, there's nothing in here that says 12. It would kind of be right in between 4 and 12 here. I mean 4 and 20 here. So you would think maybe it's right in between 1 and 5, and that's actually quite right. The way I would look at this is you've got one paper clip. I'm just going to abbreviate that PC. And 4 seconds. And you know, if it's everything here is an equivalent rate, so they want to know 12 seconds. I'm going to put 12 seconds over here. Oops. Oh boy. Gotta get back to that page. We got to put 12 seconds. Try to refocus us here. You just had a 5-second free break. 12 seconds goes on the bottom here. And how did we get from 4 seconds to 12 seconds? Well, equivalent fractions. We multiplied by 3. So I need to do the same thing up here to my numerator. So we're going to multiply one paperclip by 3. And that'll equal 3 paper clips. So in 12 seconds we get 3 paper clips. You probably said, well, right in between 4 and 20 is 12, and right in between 1 and 5 is 3. That was another way to kind of determine the same answer. Up here we have the cost of a carpet is 29 cents. So we're going to use some decimals now. Per square foot. Ooh, area. Can you determine the missing parts that go in the table? So, again, I want you to try to pause this. See if you can figure it out on your own. Just to get you started, 1 square foot is 29 cents. The cost of a carpet is 29 cents per square foot. So I think you'll be able to figure out what goes here, and then try to figure out the rest of it. So for 1 square foot, it was 29 cents. If 1 square foot is 29 cents, you can probably determine the rule here. You're multiplying by 29 cents going down. 1 times 29 cents is that. So for 5 square feet, you would, again, just multiply by 29 cents. So 29 times 5. And remember, multiplying decimals, we want to just think about it being real numbers, and then we'll slide the decimal at the end. When you multiply and divide, remember to slide the decimal. 9 times 5 is 45. We carry that 4 up there. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So we have $1.45 here, right? Because I need to slide the decimal over 2 times. So this would be $1.45. Now again, to work this way, we have to work kind of backwards. So instead of times 29 cents, it's really divided by 29 cents here. So $2.03 divided by 29 cents. And it's kind of hard to see, how many times does 29 cents go into $2.03. But, guess and check is fine on this one. It's one of those things you can't calculate quickly. I know that 10 times 29 is 290. So maybe 8 would be a good guess here. Let's see if that would work. 29 times 8. And that's just a little bit high. It'll actually be, if we take away 29 from this, you'll get $2.03. So it'll go in 7 times. 29 goes into 20 0 times. It goes into 203 7 times. So this would be, and I made a mistake with my decimal here. I actually should bring it over here, right? Because I moved it twice. So the 7 goes up here. And I'm going to do this one out right now, but you're going to see there's actually a shortcut. Maybe you figured out that shortcut already. But anyway, if we had 70 square feet, again, we're going this way now. So we're going to multiply again by 29 cents. So 70 times 0.29. And if we do this out, the decimal would get moved right there. It would be $20.30. Now, I actually did the math out down below, as you can see. But you could have just saw that we multiplied 7 by 10 to get 70. So wouldn't we just multiply $2.03 by 10 to get $20.30? Right? And when you multiply by 10, all you're really doing is sliding the decimal over one spot. So it'd be 20.3 or 20.30, which is the same thing. Up here again, we would divide this by 29 cents. I'm going to show you on this next slide what that answer is. I'm not going to take the time to do it out. But it would be 105.5, and that's an approximate answer, meaning that it was about 105.5 square feet that cost $30.60. They actually rounded this answer up because in money you don't go to the third decimal, and this actually came out to 3 decimals. So they rounded the answer up. So it was kind of a real-life application of what you do with money. Next question, last question says, the cost of a carpet is 29 cents per square foot. Approximately how much does it cost for a circular room at an amusement park, maybe a graviton, one of those things you stick to the wall, that'd be cool, that has a diameter of 30 feet. Remember, the formula is area equals pi times radius squared. This is the diameter, isn't it, of 30 feet. So what would be the radius? Think about that. The radius would be 15 here. So the radius would be about 15. We'd do 15 squared. And 15 squared, I know that off the top of my head. You could probably do it out too. It's going to equal 225. And then we would multiply that by 3.14. For the sake of time, I'm just going to multiply it by 3. You could use a calculator if you wanted to and get a closer answer. But it did say approximately here. And areas, if we're going to use 3.14 for pi anyway, it's approximate, right? Because pi is not really 3.14. And 225 times 3 is about 675. So it'll be about 675 square feet. So we got to do that times 29 cents. And again, approximately how much it would cost. I'm going to say that let's round 675 to, let's round 29 cents to 30 cents. So 675 times 0.3, that would equal about $202.50. $202.50. Hopefully that makes sense.